Hello, my fellow Americans. My name is Colin Jones, and I'm running for president in 2028. I'm putting out a lot of videos today and over the next week talking about economics and education, a little bit about healthcare, a lot of topics that are directly related to economics in some fashion. It's taking me and my team a little bit longer than we anticipated to put out a get to know you video where I talk more about my background and why I feel like I can actually do the job of president. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my training, specifically on the topics I'm talking about today: economics, education, healthcare, maybe to give a little bit more insight about why this is less of a joke, less of a crazy idea, and more like a real campaign. After I graduated high school, technically my education begins, with the United States Marine Corps, where I did schools on professional leadership. I did schools on military intelligence. I did schools on communications, not really relevant, but a lot of strategy and leadership. So after I got out of the Marine Corps, after I got honorably discharged at the end of my service in 2015, I attended college with a very unique major. It's kind of a great books program. I'll talk more about that in the future. But I also did all the necessary coursework for a minor in economics with a focus on games, decision theory, and finance policy. Most of my life, I was squarely a middle-class kid, arguably on the lower end of that. For example, when I was in the Marine Corps and when I was attending college, technically, legally, I was institutionally homeless. That is, I was living in institutional housing and did not have a permanent mailing address of my own. My family was moving around often. We had lost our house in 2008. I didn't have any money for myself. I attended school on the GI Bill. And I supplemented what I couldn't afford through the GI Bill, like housing, with student loans. I bring that up because although a lot of my educational journey can kind of look like it was designed to run for president one day, but I didn't necessarily think that was a feasible possibility for me. I'm not wealthy. I don't come from a rich family. I don't have rich friends. I don't have a backer. Unlike some people, there's no billionaires who are backing me yet. I'm hoping I can convince a couple to change sides. So anyways, at the end of my undergraduate degree, I actually almost applied for PhDs in economics. The reason I didn't was really just because I didn't have a lot of formal calculus training in my background. And when you get to the graduate level of, or the doctoral level of economics, you really need a real robust understanding of high-level mathematics to be able to participate in research. At the same time, I found myself extremely fascinated and concerned with emergent technologies like artificial intelligence and genetic editing, as well as some other salient topics like health inequality. The director of the Bioethics Center at NYU reached out to me and asked me to consider applying for their program. I did, accepted, and was awarded a scholarship to attend the Bioethics Center. So I hope this gives a little bit better of a view on me before we can give a more formal deep dive into my personal history. When I throw around big things saying like, I want to cut your taxes by 50%, I want to tax robots, these aren't aspirational ideas. This is policy I've been thinking about for the better part of a decade, and I can back up with some numbers. And I also run all these policies by experts in the field that I have the extreme good fortune to know. Anyhow, that's all for now, America. I just really wanted to start introducing myself on a personal level and give you a very high-level overview of my educational background. I would love to talk about this more. I am an extreme passionate champion for all of the fields that I studied, and I think that if more people took looks at education like I was extremely fortunate to do, our world would look radically different and much better. Until next time, America, let's shoot for those stars and land on the moon together.